Peace. All right. Here at the school, I expect a couple of students. Don't know if they will come physically, but I'm here for all of you for any questions you might have. And for students, we'll go over the things that we're supposed to. I just realized that I was so busy I didn't even look at my notes. So I didn't take note of a phone number I was given. Trying to do something here. There we go. Okay, let me know. Hey, peace, Quatis. All right. Yeah, it's warmer today at school, man. That's because it's like 65 outside. That was crazy last week. All right, 793rd piece. You brothers used to ask me a lot of questions and stuff. I'm assuming that now you know it all. Saladin, peace, guy. All right, Quartus, you said, well, since ain't nobody speaking yet, I can share my take on wisdom born or being born in knowledge, testing wisdom, the ideas of creation. Oh, that's good. That's real good. And how they lead to a better recognition of the details of bringing something into existence. Better recognition is knowledge. Wow, Quartus, you're going to have to copy and paste that one. Keep that one in the memory bank. Yeah. Quartus, you're getting very good at concentrating the language. It's really good. All right, so I have everything working here, and that is good. Peace, God. I am sure I just text you right now. Asiatic God, aka Dro Boylan. I'm pretty sure I just text you now. Saladin says, peace. Do you think the verdict in the Floyd case will bring about any lasting change in the way policing is done in America? Well, certainly we have to say in the immediate run, absolutely not. So the key word in that question is lasting change, because it's almost brought defiance in the recent, you know. You can't really this you know, it's a white man's country. So you can't make him, you know, do anything. You know, they have to adjust to every single small bit. You know, I gotta say that I don't think that the entire idea of police is pretty useless. You know what I mean? Um, you know, people talk about, well, what about crime and things like that, and investigations and things like that. Maybe you need a police department to investigate things, but you need a much more detailed community units, I call them, to respond to activity, you know? Because clearly this is not working, you know what I mean? The way that we're demanding it to work. You see what I said? I said it's not working the way that we've demanded it work. It wasn't designed that way, and it's pretty much working the same way. A large chunk of the United States of America is killing, and we're not talking about what they do outside of the country. Well, it may apply, but I'm putting specific focus within the country. A large part of America's history is causing violence to those who live. You know what I mean? You know, to those who live in those areas, right? They didn't just, how did they drive out the Native American? If they put them somewhere, how do they keep driving them out? You know what I mean? How do they stop wars? You know what I mean? Well, they have a lot of political acumen, though, right? Making sure that they do certain things that they normally wouldn't do, right? They watch them. The origin of the newspaper was the way to keep tabs of Native American movements. You watch them, but you make it part of it has been made part of the culture to go and kill the Indian, the native, the indigenous. And this is how they slowly kept driving them and driving them and driving them. And then the principle of capitalism in all its greed is really, people don't understand, it's not about selling things. It is about collecting capital. Okay? And when you collect all the capital, then now you have the power to make people work for some say in that capital. So now what happens is that you literally own the means of production. Everything in this world is going to be done with this capital that I'm holding, these assets. If you want to get some of this, you're going to have to make me, help me, and work for me, and change it into viable product. Right? Well, that kind of mentality leads to manifest destiny. It leads to an outward movement, and it leads to a conquering. It leads to an obsession to continue to collect, to take, right? To withhold. Families, not police units, not posses or anything like that. Families, fathers and sons, used to go out and travel into the reservation. White fathers and their sons and their homies and their friends travel into the reservations, the places that the indigenous live that aren't called reservations even just yet, and go collect dead bodies, kill them. And the best way to prove that you killed them and get money for that, because they were paying you for it, was to scalp them. They said don't kill the babies and children, but it's all scalp. It's all scalp, and you all add it up. So they killed anything, and they got paid for anything, and they horrified. And they did it in the guise of protecting their own land. You see, preemptive strikes. There's a country built on the preemptive strike. They go, wars justified and stuff. And they have it in the books. You know, World War II, they attacked Pearl Harbor. They had it in the books that 9/11. But these are rare occasions, though, where they get to appear like they're reacting to something. One attack on soldiers in Pearl Harbor justified them throwing an atomic bomb that they at that time knew, to their minds, they knew it would destroy all of humanity in the vicinity. In the modern era, we don't have any other instance where one country worked to obliterate an entire other country. But, we're on this side, the American side, and we read the books, and it's different. They threw an atomic bomb, and then the war was over. They were never going to throw it out. Were they ever going to throw it on Hitler? They throw it on Japan, though. Pure devilishment. And it's the only way that they know. And so you can't make something that is designed in the same mentality. You can't make it good. You cannot reform it. You know what I mean? It said that they're just, if they just follow directions and stuff. But that's the whole thing. They're not following directions. Understand it. They don't follow directions and rules. We have to follow directions and rules. Rules and regulations. They are not following rules and regulations. They are living their culture. This is part of their culture. And being a police officer draws up the reality. It draws up the history of all this. All of us that have dealt with police brutality, including myself, we're here and not dead because it wasn't their shining moment yet. Police officers didn't kill me yet because they decided not to have their shining moment at that time. There's no such thing as a righteous police forces in any way. It has to be completely dismantled. You cannot make up laws for people in this country for sure, and then tell people to make sure that we catch people allegedly committing crimes or actually even committing crimes and bring them before the courts of the law. We're going to give you something that could possibly very easily kill them. Because they're not using this gun to protect themselves. They're using this gun to kill whoever they think is an assailant. If they get to the court system, what court system? They're doing their culture. So how does the court of this land say that the man is guilty? Right? Why do you think that Chauvin looks so surprised? Right? It's like the fucking end of A Few Good Men. Right? He was like, but we did our duty. That's how he looked. He just didn't have anybody to say that with, though. You know? I was living my culture. Right? People in all the family situations, things like that. Peace, God. Family situations, domestic situations, all these things. They need that many police? Does it have to be mandatory that they take somebody under the law and arrest them? Absolutely. That's all I know. Can't chase it. Abolishment is the only way. A new system of protecting and engaging community is the only way. Now, how do we do that? That's another question. I don't know. Quatis, you said, I like how you put it, Sunez, guiding decision or, quote, carrying out his rule in the king degree, supreme alphabet. Do you think that term worth ethic relates to wisdom born? Wow. Yeah, I do. I'm working on a very particular project that has to be finished very quickly. And it speaks to that concept, but in my mind, as far as what I'm dealing with. But there are many things that have to be done, right? There are many engagements of the knowledge that has to be done to get the understanding out. A lot of times, to me, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, though, is a development of practice with all that you have into wisdom. Like a lot of this is the practice, the working of the knowledge, so that you can get out the understanding and make culture, you know? And a lot of my practice, writing, reading, training, is a lot of knowledging of myself, knowledging of works, knowledging, wisdoming the knowledge, right? The knowledge that I have. In other words, working it out with myself to develop my own understanding and how I will put that into a viable creation. In this society, unfortunately, the only way to share creation is to put it as a product. I hate that part, idea of it. But I'm saying that because it's something to resonate, because you'll have to do that, unfortunately, in many ways, and bring it to people. You know what I mean? So that it could sustain you. You know. But yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Saldine, you said peace. They aren't even showing the tape of the incident down south. They blotted our faces, shortened the video footage. We're being slaughtered, bro. It's why I ask you all to learn some type of martial art. It isn't your body you're training to fight these cops. It is that you need better eyes. You need more soldiering eyes. You need to see things quicker. You need to anticipate things quicker. You know what I mean? You need to see them before they see you. It's a war zone that we're in. If it is this hellish in a society, imagine the real war, right? Real war. 793rd. You said always reflecting on specific and particular lessons of pedagogy, listening critically, and application. You brought forth in class with my righteous brother earlier and dealing with all human families. Highly appreciative and appreciate you for that time and your time about peace. That's peace, God. I'm honored. Supreme freedom, peace, divine truth, peace. All right. Quatis, you said things seem to be working the way it's intended, that the citizens sit under such pointed violence and survival mode environment should be easy work for the leaders to handle, but it's not. I think the leaders are handling it very well, actually. You know? You said they're having guys like Tupac, Nipsey, Tuki, I think you mean, who tried to end gang violence in their own way, for instance. This was not allowed to take hold. I'm assuming you mean hold. Yeah. But I feel like there's a fatalist mode here. What we're seeing is what always has been happening, okay? So you either be appreciative that you can see more and handle that because of social media, you are shown what millions of people would like to share and have you see and have better and develop something that people never had to develop before. An immediate scrutiny, super filters, discretionary devices, you know. But there's not one instance of anything that we've seen that is actually new or happening just now, right? And those who remember, I remember when I was radicalized in the early 90s and going to college. I had gone to Revolution bookstore and got a poster. Well, I didn't buy it. Who would buy that poster? But I bought a couple of books and I got a free poster. And I was so angry that I actually hung it up, horrified my old earth. But it was a poster of all the black and brown that the police have killed, with a little bit of a blurb underneath, you know? And it was a big poster, man. You know? And it was so horrific to see it like that, so offensive, so disturbing that it fired me up. Of course, it was the worst type of poster for like your old earth to see, in your room and stuff, because they already know this, and they already worry about you. But yeah, we're just seeing this stuff. We don't get to see an account. We get to see a video. So now the real question is, what are the type of systems that can be developed to get rid of that, right? To abolish the police. What would you put in its place, right? What would you do to defend the people, to protect the people, to investigate criminality? There's a lot of stuff, you know? Saladin, you said peace, wisdom, wise individuals born, right? Wise individuals usher in brighter tomorrows by sharing the light they possess, adding to the light that already exists. That probably I would have put a comma after possess and not finished the sentence. The sentence is not finished. Sometimes without speaking, just by being an example. That's pretty good. That's really good. 793rd is about to ruin Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He said a few good men, or that scene in Falcon and the Winter Soldier when Duke vehemently told the congressional type hearing that he did what they trained him to do. I didn't get up there, but I've watched a couple of episodes, so I know where you're coming with that. All right. A judge just ruled, 793rd, said that he or she would not release footage of another police killing to the public. Yeah. Wonder why, right? What's the reason, that they'll give, right? So there won't be Born Reality. I have a piece of Born Reality that I have to get to publishing too. It has been a very fast week for me. Saladin, you said peace. There are countries still in existence that don't use firearms. It'd be so out of character for this country to adopt less deadly ways to stop crime. And that's the thing, though. But that's what revolution is, Saladin. You know what I mean? Having the people realize what is right and what has to be done. The people, they have to realize it first. And then they do something that has been out of character, so out of order that, and it gets done. That's literally what a revolution is. You know? And it'll usher in new problems, but it'll be new things to deal with. Hmm. 9:30 did not ruin the show for me. I haven't been watching the show because I haven't watched much or had time to watch much television or movies and stuff, you know? Um, yeah. Again, like if it's to, I usually just watch things while I'm eating. And then when I'm finished eating, I do very rarely stay with it. Quatis, you said first off, no guns. Police are the citizens. Everybody got to learn how to fight. That would end mass shootings, which would be a great step in changing the culture of violence this the country has. Hmm. Yeah, that would probably would be a step. Saladin, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a show in Peru this year. I haven't heard anything about it. Yeah, that's yeah, the God Justice. He always puts the yeah, isn't it? That's crazy, right? Yeah. Sounds like those old movies though, like those mobster movies though, because I feel like I always associate game shows now with like movies where they show like an old mobster, sitting on the sofa though, because that's what they watch, right? Mhm. 783. You said an original man put that show storyline and concept together and did a good job presenting this timeless story during this time. You're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, are you? All right. That's interesting. I didn't know that. It has a lead, a brother in the lead, but I didn't. I didn't assume that original man wrote that. That's peace. Think of it in a different light, I guess, when you learn those things. I don't. I had some things to go over, but the students that I hadn't prepared for aren't actually. I don't see in the cipher, so I'm gonna wait. I don't know. My notes keep going back to the top. Where are we now? Ah, Malik, that's who I was thinking of. All right. Very interesting, 7-8-30. So there's a deeper story even to that that program. Very interesting. Indeed, indeed, divine truth. I see what you're saying. But again, remember that, that's the origins of the police were really to keep original people out of, you know, sectors of society, literally keep them in their ghetto and ensure that, for the whites, ensure that the proletariat, the workers, did not strike. It's really the origins of police. No, there's really nothing else to say about that. I didn't know the rigor mortis has the B12. Rigor mortis means dying, something dying. So that's a very crazy statement, Malik. You mean that red meat has B12, okay? There's lots of sources. There's other sources of B12. You know what I mean? It's just that vegans don't really eat very well. Just because you're vegan means that this tells me what you don't eat. It doesn't tell me what you do eat. Okay? So so all right. Okay. Yeah, so all right. Yeah, there are a lot. I think that the two main sources of B12, for if you have a vegan diet, is tempeh, of which I think is the best kind. I choose tempeh easily over the fake meats, and I personally think it's more potent than tofu. I don't get much out of tofu. Like I don't get much, uh, but tempeh I do, and tempeh goes down very well. It's a fermented food. And in that fermentation, though, that's where you get the B12. Just like nutritional yeast is a source of B12, algae, seaweed, mushrooms. And in the vegan diet, mushrooms are huge. For many of a real vegan, someone that's eating healthy and diverse, it's a big deal. You know? Okay, I'm looking right now. Let me gather some of my main lesson. The food protocol. Let me go over it. Good question, Quatis. I'm going to build on the dietary plan, but first, before I do, I want to ask anyone that's here: do they remember the classes or ever was taught by me the protocol, the Living Foods protocol? Because I taught it last year in one of the classes online. That is on here on the channel. And of course, though, there's no way that I'm going to teach something and then expect never to teach it again or go over it again to anyone that wants to. It's a problem. But um, I'm just curious who has already seen it, learned it, has the actual Living Foods protocol from me. That way you can let me know what you've done with it. If you've done nothing with it, if you're just in, what have you learned? Have you worked to fact check some of the things I shared? Yeah, just let me know. Let me answer this quick question for Quatis. You said, Quatis, do the lessons build on how Yakub convinced a certain percentage of the population to come with him to Patmos to begin the grafting process? Was it voluntary? It is voluntary because they were dissatisfied. This is something that you learn more in reading Elijah's books. That's why over time, you ideally want to read all of Elijah's books. You want to read Message to the Black Man. You want to, all the major books. Fall of America, again, they become very redundant because they're speeches, but they're his speeches, and we weren't there to hear him. So it'd be great to do the knowledge. The protocol, no, I emailed it to you, Malik. Yeah, you have it. Wednesday at 3:06 p.m. I said, read through this as I'll go over it. It's a PDF. Okay. But no, Quatis, he doesn't. They don't give a see. A lot of 120 doesn't give reasoning. When it gives reasoning, it still has to be analyzed. So it never really gives reasoning. You're not going to get reasoning in 120. You're going to get the reasons. You might get reasons, but you're not going to get a reasoning. Meaning, like they're not going to be explanatory. Okay. And that's why 120 is very arcane. Arcane. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know, the word arcane is a great word for it. Understood by few, mysterious, or secret. You know what I mean? In other words, it has to be unraveled.
Hey, Shima, come here a minute.
What you need, guy? Hold on.
One minute, you be right back. Let me see how the screen goes.
All right, I am back. I just had to check the new lights that were put out in front of the school. They look very inviting. Malik, you said you eat a plant-based diet. The meat is what I was saying. Right, okay. Yeah, I figured that's what you're saying. Didn't know how. Yes, nutritional yeast and tempeh. Right. Tempeh is very cheap too, especially Trader Joe's and its quality. Easy to season, you know what I mean? Season it like you would anything else, Experiment. Self-I Bill, you said utilizing proper discernment is a means of manifesting born of light that is demonstrative of one founded on P.E.A.C.E to God. On healthy principles of self-awareness, which can be taught to others via words and actions and deeds. Okay. So wisdom is discernment. Born is manifested, you said. And it is a life that is demonstrative of one unhealthy principles of self-awareness. So the founding of the self-awareness is the knowledge, founding of self-awareness, which can be taught to others via words, actions, and deeds, wisdom. It's good stuff. Man, it's good stuff. Okay, Malik, that's peace. Yeah, that's the protocol. It's the science, God.
I'm here, God.
Hey, he defeating all types of shit.
Indeed.
The true and living God. Peace to the God, Kasim. Yeah.
So this is chat.
All right. Quatis, you don't have it. You have it now. Okay, I just emailed it to you because I already have your email. Self-ability, I did. So, yeah, I'll get to that. There's a lot of stuff to get to in the weekend, you know? That's why it's okay to re-email me or stuff like that, you know what I mean? Sometimes I write some shit and it's good, and I don't give a damn about any of you. And this shit goes good, right? It's just the way. No, seriously though. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with a lot of stuff.
You painting over?
Yeah, the God didn't know I was gonna come, so he was getting ready to paint. So I said he had that in the middle too. I said, let's just push that over there. We'll work around it. Mhm. But I've been coming back regularly, so here I am.
Mm-hmm. Much I just building on today's mat.
Indeed, and they want me to go over the living foods protocol, so I'm gonna go over that. You know what I mean? But I'm waiting a little bit. I want to see who has it, and 'cause I taught this in the class, so it's archived. So I just want to know if anybody already learned it from me, so that way I could, kind of not reinvent the wheel with everybody. You know what I mean? And if you have the protocol and I went through it, and then you tried to use it and stuff, you could let me know some of your questions, some of the difficulties, some of the successes,
Yeah.
some of the add-on questions. Because in the protocol it doesn't have every food that existed to man.
Yeah.
Even in the protocol, it's hard to update because health always has new updates all the time.
Yeah.
You always got to be researching. Yeah. And one thing, I don't know if I wrote it in the protocol, but whatever foods you get that are right and exact, and I'm talking about from the basic level. Basic level meaning you're reading the labels now. Okay, I don't give a shit if you're saying you Sunez is vegan, but that's not going to be me. Fine. Then
Right.
what am I supposed to say? You die earlier? I don't know. But if you're going to be arrogant like that, but everybody that gets knowledge of self has to start reading the labels because you're looking for pork. You know what I mean?
Right.
And companies that don't have pork in their products, if it's a processed product and it's in a bag or a box, man, they can put that shit the next time. A lot of programs products that are new, they'll give you the best quality products when they start off with a great price. But then when they find their market and everybody knows them, then they start to raise that price slowly but surely, and then also, making the product a little bit cheaper. You know what I mean?
They had that cut to it.
Yeah. Another of the glories of capitalism. You know what I mean? Yeah, but that is a problem. You know what I mean? So you always got to read the labels. You got to be on your jizz all the time. All the time. And what I mean is products that you got used to, continue to read them. You know what I mean? Like I'm big on Ezekiel bread. I always eat that bread. I raise my daughters on that bread. You know what I mean? That's the the sprouted living foods bread you can get. Flourless. It's a flourless sprouted grain bread. You got to refrigerate it. They actually have one here, so I don't know who got wind of it.
Okay.
It wasn't me who put that in there, but I've been eating that bread since 97. I don't know, some shit like that. You know what I mean? I put them Ezekiel people through college. I put their kids through college. Then my loaves I bought.
But that was before you got knowledge yourself, though.
Yeah, I've been vegan way before I got knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what sparked that?
What sparked it is because I'm allergic to dairy. And so that was all the fun of the diet.
That's the case with my daughter.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't, fuck me, dairy, like, there's no cakes, there's no ice cream. You're telling me, like, I don't know nothing yet. So I'm thinking like, damn, I'm never gonna have a cake or ice cream ever again in my life.
Especially at that time.
So you're thinking like, man, I might as well go all the way, man. See what happens.
Yeah.
You know, because look at I'm this height. I'm not getting bigger. I'm not with the meat. So I'm like, let me just quit all this stuff. You know what I mean? But that's what happened. You know, and then that was 93, and then 94, I got rid of pork. You know what I mean? All these songs started to be relevant. Beef.
Yo, I remember hearing that song as a young kid,
Yeah.
and the shit used to scare me because I'm hearing what he's saying, but I'm like 4 or 5 years old, knowing that mom's gonna give me a beef burger and all that.
Right. Yeah, it's the biggest drug in the street. Yeah, he's like, it's the biggest drug in the street, not crack.
But I recognize what he was saying in that song. When
I always tell people that know.
Me, I was like,
what really sparked me was when I got Common's album.
Okay.
In 1994, the Resurrection. I used to love it. The song Maintain, he says, what type of rebel eats pork?
Right.
And that line kept looping and looping and looping.
You looking at your
yeah, and I was like, no, we can't do it no more. Yeah. You know what I mean? I had to do it. You know what I mean?
I had to do that.
So for me, it was 93 dairy, 94 pork, 96 every other meat. And then because I didn't know, I did make mistakes, or like not mistakes, but the journey. I don't know mistake. Yeah. But they used to, when I learned about omega-3s, I at the time they didn't have vegan omega-3s. They had it straight from the fish, not the algae it originates from. So I was like, okay, I need this though. So I would be taking the fish oil pills. You know what I mean? Because the flaxseed oil wasn't giving that complete balance of omega-6. It still had too much omega-6. Okay. But now they make the omega-3s straight from the source, the algae. If you need that, you know what I mean? But being vegan since 96, the last flesh I ever ate was salmon, you know what I mean? Okay. That was the last thing I ever ate. After that, I was like, fuck this shit. It's just me being a rebel, you know what I mean? Like just trying shit. You know what I mean? Right. I can't really, at the time, I had no control over what I could eat. But I certainly had control over what I wasn't going to eat. And I had money to buy all the meals I wanted. Right. But I definitely had the ability to restrict. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. I was thinking about that shit too, with the like interracial dating and all that. Like, are they trying to grab them back to the original?
How did you go from foods to that?
Nah, because someone like the comment.
Okay, I was like, damn.
Self how build. Understanding culture degree.
Okay. I didn't get there yet. I sent you the protocol too. Because that's what I saw first. He was asking. All right, let me see what I missed here. Ran a lot, but yeah, people eat meat and stuff, and I could smell the urea. You know what I mean? I could smell the piss coming out of the pores of that flesh. Okay, all right. Malik, you said at first it was hard not to eat a lot of processed vegan foods. Yeah, I was taught to read the labels. Yeah. When you eat processed vegan foods, what you're gonna feel is a lot of bloating. Especially with processed soy. See, the thing about soy is that soy is not bad for you, but nearly all soy is bad for you. What I mean by that is, soy is only good when it's uncut. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta talk about I'm Tony Montana here,
Right.
The every single processing of soybean oil, soy protein bars, soy protein powder, soy nuggets, the shit that you be getting on West 4th restaurants. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Not tofu. Because you can make tofu without using any kind of chemicals.
But what you think most of these like restaurants?
Right. Of course, yeah. They'll process it. You know what I mean? Tofu's different though, because you could coagulate it. That's what you have to do. You have to coagulate the actual soybean. You can do that by draining the soybean, getting the liquid out, and then you can coagulate it to become tofu. With it was actually my uncle that showed me this.
Okay.
I think it was with lemon and something else. I gotta ask her. You know what I mean? But and the guy did it, so it is very possible. Me as far as like working out and training, I don't get much out of the tofu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a big fan. Soy milk is okay if you're gonna do that, but the biggest thing with the milks, all the milks, is that you get a lot of sugar in all the milks. So you got to do the knowledge though. You're kind of just drinking sweet milk.
Sugary water.
Yeah, like almond milk, like very vanilla soy, like them shits is like candy. Like,
I get the one I say original.
Yeah, you might as well just drink Kool-Aid, like this is a health food Kool-Aid. Like no, it's a lot of sugar, man. It's a lot of sugar. And the processing and all that. And if you need milks, if you want to have like granola and stuff, I eat granola every now and then.
Right.
I like granola. So I'm not gonna drink it. I'm not gonna always eat it dry. You know what I'm saying? I want to have something in it. But and my daughter though, she really knows how to bake. So like if she's feeling generous though, I gotta go in. But you know what I mean? And I'm glad to do it. You know what I mean? But with discretion, they're not necessary, as far as the soy and stuff. You don't really need soy. The only soy product that I think is great is tempeh because it is fermented. It is very minimal processing because the fermentation is a natural process. And then the blending that usually happens is that it's blended with other grains. That's how they traditionally do it. So you'll get other grains like brown rice, you'll get millet, you'll get something else in it. And that's a great combo because once you start eating foods with a combination of grains, that's when you start. Why do you think they always go this multigrain, this, that, multigrain? Why do they always talk about it? Because it's like training. You know what I mean? Like I'll give you an example to put it a training thing. I hate burpees, man. I hate burpees. That shit is crazy.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But a lot of times the indoor workout, when it's raining, is trash without something to take it over the top. So I started to put burpees in everything. So I'll do sprints, right? And when I get to the top of that hill, I'll do 5 burpees. That's just 5, though. But you sprinted.
Mm-hmm.
That shit will kill you, though. And it starts to cut you and get you right. You know what I mean? So a lot of times the combination of different grains is something that takes you over the top. The diversity of grains, you know what I mean? And the grains, brown rice, different darker rices, you know what I mean? You get dark rice that looks like you, brother, then you're going to be good. You know what I'm saying? If you get the white rice, good. And they got all types of rices, red rice, wild rice, black rice, and they all have different textures. And you got to get your tongue, your palate used to these things and get your palate open on different tastes. Then you got the quinoas. There's all different color quinoa. You know what I mean? All of this stuff. And quinoa is a good grain because quinoa has a lot of protein, but it's very light.
Yeah.
So like if you want to train in the morning, but you want a grain and you eat your dinner and you want to eat a grain, quinoa is good because it's not like brown rice though. Brown rice might leave you a little heavy. You can't really train. It's hard to train right in the morning off that. But with the quinoa, you good. You know what I mean? And that's why I like the tempeh too. It's a perfect blend, But Self-I Built, you said, do you see the understanding culture degree trying to be lived out via the media touting interracial couples in movies, commercials? Quote, unless they grafted them back to the original. Nah, I don't see any of that though. No. It's civil rights though, but in a slow pace. That's all it is.
Mm.
We keep demanding that we see people like that look like us, and then they do it as slow as possible. You know what I mean? And then it becomes next level though. Like Bridgerton, we got to see the black man bang out a white chick heavy for 8 whole episodes. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like that's what I saw. I saw the damn thing. You know what I mean? And I'm not that impressed, And it's all based on who's asking. That's why it's not really an agenda. It's just conceding. You know, it's not really like a particular agenda to mind warp you. It's more of a conceding, giving you the least amount. African Americans complain the most, rightfully, to get themselves in the film successfully. Right? Asians have been doing pretty good. So you start seeing Asians though. The brown, Mexican, Puerto Rican, they do a shitty job of complaining. So do you see him? I ain't seen a nigga looking like me and win no Oscar.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no spics with Oscars. I don't go on Netflix and I don't see like, you know, anything. The Marvel universe don't got no brown brother like me flying through it.
Yeah.
Shit's fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I fuck up half of the
Our
Avengers and
rules
shit.
with the Oscar.
Right? Nah, you know? Come on, man.
If it is an agenda, I think it's more for them than it would be for us. Like a way to keep their genetic.
Yeah, you know.
Whatever
Now
still
all
going,
television and film sets propaganda, but you got to start judging the propaganda a little bit broad based. You know why? Because we're dealing with heavy algorithms now being fitted to. The reason I'm saying that is like, have you looked at how many different kinds of movie and film apps, how much film there is, just counting the amount of film that there is since that is available now. Because it's not just the film that's available like when we were kids in the 80s, 90s. And then you have like old flicks, and then you have all this new shit that comes out. And it was your age that had all the new shit. Now you got people that could go old school bogey movies.
Right.
They could go old school 50s movies. Shit, they could go to Bollywood. They could go to 70s gritty movies. Right? Then they could go to the childhood movies that is old movies for them now, right? The 80s, 90s and stuff. Then couple that with how many programs that exist on all these apps, these new programs. I mean, it's an obscene amount of film and television to sift through. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I mentioned like the so-called brown, because you don't see all of this stuff. I can't count on a hand on how many things I've seen with so-called Latino experience. I can count on a hand on, and they're usually shit that I'm, you know, maybe show Netflix on the block, right? On my block, that's still going. I know they got like, they're fucking doing West Side Story again. Steven Spielberg. That shit was coonery back in the days. You know what I mean? I always know when white people are racist when they want to tell me that they think West Side Story is a classic. I'm like, no, you're a racist though, you know? Yeah. Or you're gonna let me stab you and sing while I stab you right now. I'm gonna sing you a jingle while I stab you, you know what I mean? Right? That shit is the most non-realistic movie ever, and they remake that shit. And then Lin-Manuel Miranda, I mean, he's a legend crossover. You know what I mean? He writes all the crossovers, so he's gonna have In the Heights singing and dancing. Shit that never happens. I lived in the Heights for 12 years. I don't see niggas singing and dancing. I see bitches grinding in the Heights, but I don't see people singing and dancing in unison. You know what I mean? None of that shit. It's a lot of coonery. You know what I mean? Yo, the only show with brown people that is dope is Mayans MC, about the motorcycle club.
Oh, okay.
That shit's grimy, and that's the only. It's one thing. I don't know any movies. I don't know anything. You know? I don't know anything.
Wild Style.
Yeah. That's like the only movie I can say that like was representative. Like that's bad. That's terrible. So that the reason I'm saying that is because they're not pushing this agenda. They're just showing you things that people are asking for. They're indulging the algorithms because people are watching. But white people now, they don't have to get mad at seeing black people in other programs, because if they really get that pissed, there's a whole load of stuff that got none of us in it still.
Yeah.
Go to HBO Max, you know, like Disney Plus, all of that kind of stuff. Man, you know what I'm saying? You know, All right, they put brothers in the Avengers though, but so what? You know what I'm saying? You saw how they vaporized Black Panther immediately, right? You telling me? Come on, man.
People hype about that shit. Like,
I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? And I love Black Panther though, but I wasn't really. I didn't understand why he was fighting his brother. Why was he fighting Michael B. Jordan though?
Because they gotta show us that.
I would have. Michael B. Jordan would have came to me like that. I would have said, "Listen, this is what we had. This is our cipher here. You're not ruining this cipher." But man, you got some good ideas, brother. Like, we need to build.
Right. We figure it out.
We need to build though. You know, I would have been like, man, fuck them cracks though. Yo, fuck with Wakanda here. Right? Why we gotta fight though? You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
how they like to do
you know,
it,
just
even
you know, I just tell them like, yo, keep low. Well, you know, don't go seeking revenge. That'll waste your time. And you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's why I was watching it when I was losing my gusto the more the movie went on. So I was like,
right.
you know, I'm down with Michael B. Jordan's character. Why you want to fight him? Knowledge Allah said no meat, 3 years or more. That's great. Asiatic God, aka Gerald Boylan. You said Ezekiel bread's been my favorite for a while. Absolutely. Living in the Caribbean, I learned about cassava bread. Yeah, porque cassava sabe. Another grainless option. Now I'm finding cassava bread here in the wilderness. Yeah, new things. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, all these things. Acai berries, quinoa, all these things. Now, you know, they're going into Latin America and bringing the indigenous stuff. You know, the yerba mate tea, guayusa tea, by the way, my favorite tea. That tea will charge you up, though. You know, you don't need no coffee, though. Guayusa tea or yerba mate tea. Those teas.
I know the yerba mate.
Yeah, man.
I don't know the other joint.
Yeah. That's some new shit. People not messing with that, though. Not yet, you know. All right, let's see what Knowledge Allah said. No pork since 89. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So I know you know Knowledge, though. When they start frying that bacon, though, you could smell the urea. You know what I'm saying? Shit is gross, man.
Yeah.
Fucking gross. And I don't give a shit if it's turkey bacon. If you're doing turkey bacon, though, you weak. Nah, come on. Don't do that shit. That shit smells just like, that's just smell like baby swine. Like half-assed, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit smell like baby swine. I'm still smelling it, though. Why would you eat something that feels like swine? You know what I mean? I don't know. You said reading the labels. What?
I said I don't necessarily feel like swine. You know?
No. I'm just messing with you. Yeah.
I respect.
If you're transitioning and turkey bacon is like gonna get you over the hump, like this and that, yeah. But understand, you're frying those things, and those things can't be good for you. You know, you have to fry them deeply to get them right. So it's a poor substitute, you know, and it's very salty. All these things are real salty. You know. Most of the flavor is really salt. You know what I mean? It's really cured so long.
That's the fucked up part.
Yeah. Easy Ag, you said reading the labels, so many things have milk and eggs in it. Absolutely. I've definitely developed a keener eye. Also, too, you get tricked when you try to get rid of dairy. And I don't know, because you said your daughter.
Yeah, she's allergic.
You got to make sure for ingredients that will have proteins of the milk, cow's milk, but not, and say it doesn't have cow's milk, like casein.
Right.
You know, that's really what charges the body. You know, all of that stuff like, oh no, I'm just allergic to a protein and I got this milk that took it out. Because now they're making milks that take out the casein or take out some. Nah, man, it's from the damn cow. It's not. And then what happens is that the cow's milk has useful proteins that I guess the body could adapt to and use. If you start having a denatured product, now you're having something that could be as bad because it's processed even worse.
So what's the science behind people even dealing with dairy or cows? Because what in Africa we had cattle, but I don't think it was like I forget which region had cattle, which didn't.
You know what's crazy? I have a book I haven't started reading about the history of milk, which I'm gonna get into. But you just reminded me of that. Know my enemy food. But no, it's an interesting question. You know what I mean? I think it's because the European, whatever he was using was very minimal. So whatever he did use, he had to use all of it, not waste any part of it, because they didn't know how to grow grains properly.
Yeah.
So if they had cattle or they were raising any kind of cattle, whether it be beef or pork, they were going to use all of that animal.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have the diversity or the intelligence and the acumen, as they have shown, to have all of that. So it's going to be a problem. It'll definitely be a problem. And it shows to be a problem. Look at the potato famine that's so famous in Ireland. That comes from here. But that never happens here among the indigenous because they were able to understand the crops, and they were able to have crops of potatoes that could grow under all different types of conditions.
Right.
So they were able to make crops of all types of grains that would grow in floods, that would grow in dry weather, that would grow in different altitudes. So they were never really out of the loop. They knew the land, they understood the land, and they understood the crops. What's sad is that in today, even people that come to some understanding of crops, they're only allowed, if they do, I'm assuming that they do, let's be nice, right? They still can't institute things unless it can make mass amounts of food. In other words, be able to feed, meaning fund an entire organization.
Right.
So food is only grown if it could make lots of money. So you have to make mass, large monocropping. That destroys the land too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm always in agreement with Vandana Shiva, the local farming. And of course, local farming is not what all these places want, because that's not how they're going to make their billions, right? People always forget the food industry is still the biggest industry. 793rd, you said try unsweetened, possibly with almond milk. Did the knowledge to a breakdown. There may be more sugar than almonds in almond milk they sell, unless do it for yourself. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? And of course, you could get unsweetened almond milk and all that too. You know what I mean? If you eat granola, let's say, which is healthy, but granola always is made with sugar and stuff, and it's clustered with sugars. That's how you cluster it. At least you could have the unsweetened milk to go with it, because it's already going to sweeten your cereal. Your cereal's already going to be sweet. When it comes to condiments, the only way you could help yourself, a lot of the damage we do to ourselves is also in the condiments. So you want to be able to adjust your palate for using less of the condiment. Less salt, less sugar, not just the right salt, right sugar, but less of it as well. Quatis, you said, that is so interesting. I didn't realize protein powders were processed. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just protein. Is it possible to have any type of food that only has protein and no carbs in it? So pretty much all protein powders are processed, every last one. And some are better than others to use daily, but you gotta really, research. I never was able to digest them. I even tried some more, but then just stopped altogether because of digestion issues. I'll use a protein powder, right? But not every day. I really use it because there are some days I have to train and be on the run, and I can't eat that meal. But if I don't have to go somewhere and time is short, because I don't like eating a meal on the run. I don't like eating like that. I don't like eating running. You know what I'm saying?
So you eat before you work out, or you don't?
No, I usually try to train as fast as I can in the morning. So it's usually fasted. You know what I mean? It's usually fasted. But the thing is if I gotta go somewhere, then I'll use the protein powder. But I usually don't. I usually have a meal after. And you don't need a protein powder to gain weight or good weight. You know what I mean? People have protein powders, but they're putting all types of other shit in it too. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's recovery though. Look, You gotta understand that this society is about excess, abnormal excess. You know what I'm saying? And it even was taking over Bruce Lee, if you really think about it. Because I don't care what anybody says, Bruce Lee was a legend, but he was also overtrained. He was absolutely overtrained. You know, he was doing these intense sessions in the morning. He was then doing it in the night, and then he was all his daily life. He was like at home just lifting weights while he was just relaxing. He absolutely was overtrained. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And the reason I'm saying that is, well, it's for his body type and shit like that. Well, then it's only for his, because anyone else that does this is overtrained. And this is why people take steroids. This is why they take massive amounts of BCAAs and all of these, you know, other things, the creatine, all of these things, because they need to recover so they can continue to train. And the steroid use is exactly how they develop this is legs day and this is bicep day, shit like that. You know what I mean? It's because they were going so hard with it that they can't do a full body workout and then train the next day. It's too intense. So what they do is they work this part really crazy,
so they could
and
work the next
but
part.
they can't recover in time, so they do the legs tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Okay.
People regularly try to say that, oh, this is how I do it. This is you know, do it, but it's really not necessary to train that way. You know what I mean? It's really not. I've never liked that type of training. I've always done full body workouts because I'm gonna use my whole body. You know, if I fight you, I'm gonna use the whole thing. So I like to have the whole thing trained, you know what I mean? And not wait. You know, but the excess of things makes people do it. I would use protein powder if you don't have time to eat a meal properly. How to Eat to Live, the biggest jewel in How to Eat to Live by Elijah Muhammad is the nature by which you eat. And that's why in the protocol, I talk about mentality of the diet. You know, having a time to relax, right? You know, like, yo, when we have a nice meal with our children, those are the best meals, right? They always go down good. You're happy. Even if you eat a little too much, you feel better. It's the mentality that you go and eat in the meal. You know what I'm saying? It's the most important thing. Once you know that you got the basic right foods, then now it's really the setting, the way that you eat, things like that. You know what I mean? A lot of times, like now, I'm watching baseball. I know the Mets suck, and they're gonna disappoint me, right? I know that they're gonna fail me at all turns. So now, if I eat the meal in front, I'm not gonna get upset like I was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then I have a stomach ache. But the thing is that you learn how to have these meals tempered and quality. You know, have an easy, calm time of it. You know what I'm saying? Don't do things that's gonna aggravate you. You know, it's better than for me to have some protein powder shake that you could just drink. You know what I mean? Peace to the God.
Peace.
Indeed, God. Likewise, it's better to have some type of protein shake that you could just drink if you're not gonna, like, if you have your meal and you don't feel comfortable eating at work because people are assholes and they don't let you, you know, can't eat the meal right, then that's when you bring that shake and whatever like that. You know what I mean? But it's really important to eat your meals calm and try to do that. You know, and if your biggest meal, like the dinner, or if it's your lunch is your biggest meal, try to have that meal nice and calm. You know what I'm saying? It's real important. You know? And I'm saying that because I told you I was allergic. I'm allergic to dairy, right? That means I spent like a lot, like almost 18 years eating dairy.
Okay.
And it was one of those things, like, you go back and you realize all the times that you got sick eating pizza, this, that, like, you know, when you're kids, they just, you know, I'm getting berated, like, oh man, you don't know how to hold anything.
Right,
you gotta
right,
use it.
right.
But that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? So my system is very sensitive, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's very sensitive because it's been attacked for a long time with the wrong food. So you got to take note that you got to take care of it, though. That's why I love all these fermented foods with a lot of, you know, a lot of good enzymes in them. Always good. That's why I'm always good and big on the fermented foods. I'm big on the tempeh. I'm big on Of course, kombucha. I love kombucha.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I have at least I have a kombucha almost every day. Almost every day I have a kombucha. You know what I mean? You know, so and then your teas to let you flush out and stuff. You know, different teas, jasmine tea, green teas. You know what I mean? You want to balance it with things like that.
Is there a particular kombucha?
Oh yeah, definitely.
brand or
To me, the best brand is the GT. GT, the Synergy.
okay.
Yeah, easily the best. Easily the best. Some of these brands taste like vinegar. Like
That's what I'm saying.
I just drink apple cider vinegar if I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean?
I had one before, and that's like
Yeah, there's some brands that are total trash though. They taste horrible. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You try GT Synergy, get one of them because a kombucha is really that enzyme, that special SCOBY enzyme, and then it's fermented, and then they add black tea to it, and then you're adding a juice
Got it.
for the flavor. Man, it's like they forgot the last part because it has no juice flavor. It doesn't taste like anything good. It's horrible. And then some of them, to make them, they don't know how to make the flavor, so they have to add lots of sugar,
Okay.
right? So then, you know, but
Makes the purpose.
the majority of the Synergy ones don't. And they have lots of great flavors, though. You go to the Whole Foods here, you'll see what I mean, though. You know what I mean? And of course, though, they sell the hard kombucha because, you know, you could, the more you ferment it, it'll be an alcohol. To me, only Synergy makes a hard kombucha that still tastes like kombucha and has it. Because to me, if you ferment past 3%, you know, which is not that high for alcohol, but
Right.
if you go to 5% like a beer or something like that, it doesn't have the flavoring and it doesn't have, you pretty much kill the enzymes.
So that's what the percentage kind of come from
Right.
how much they
Right, because it ferments to a point. That's why, like, their grape kombucha, because, you know, grapes go into become wine so easily, that almost always you need a, you know, it's like liquor. You gotta have your ID to buy that, even though it's really like 1%. You know, But the thing is that it ferments so fast. Pineapples too. You know, Dominicans make a pineapple fermented drink that tastes great. I forgot what it's called though.
I love pineapple, so I'm gonna enjoy that.
Indeed, but they have all those flavors, all the flavors you could think of. But yeah, that's the GT Synergy. You go to their website, they got all types of flavors. And that new Sacred Life, they use it's blue, the drink, the kombucha, and they use coconut water and they use a blue spirulina to color it. Man, that shit tastes good, man. Might dump y'all and go to Whole Foods, get me that now. I should have got one before I came here. But because you got to fix the system. We've been eating the wrong food, so you have to understand that you're doing things to, you know, go back and fix things. You know what I'm saying? And that's important, though. You know, and you get, you know, you're gonna have to, if you have your children and you teach them and stuff, it's just what happens. They'll have a different palate. Like, yeah, like my youngest, right? My youngest is gonna be 8 in October, right? She's 7. She still won't eat any sweets. Doesn't eat cookies, nothing. Doesn't matter if it's vegan or nothing like that. And she tries though. She tried. She goes, buy me these. It was just a strawberry pops in the health food store. Literally just frozen strawberries with some sugar.
Yeah.
They didn't put anything in it but that, you know? Organic sugar and some strawberry, you know? Strawberry preserves. And she took a little bite and then gave it to me. Had a whole box of strawberry pops, and she, you know, because she tries, but she's not really down with it. You know what I mean? Like,
so what she usually snap on? Just like raw vegetables?
Just fruits. Fruits, only fruits. Yeah, only fruits. You know,
That's
the only treat that she'll have that isn't going to be healthy for you in the long run is a salt snack. She'll mess with the salt snack, but that's something I make sure I don't give it to
some 1 foot in, 1 foot out shit. That's because, you know what I mean?
Right. But the thing is, though, is that they'll develop the palate. The best way to get them healthy isn't to make them eat healthy treats. It's to show them new foods, slowly but surely. You know what I'm saying? And that shit's hard, too, because they be picky as hell.
Different, bro. I'm like, you don't like rice. Like, you know what I mean? But I also think that's peace because there's certain rice that she do fuck with that I feel like is more close to the original than
Right,
white
right.
rice. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get it. Certain shit that
So
she
that's
done,
good. She's
I'm
not
like,
into white rice,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's great. That's great. 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the most weakest carbs you can eat is white rice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is a good question here. Self-identity in the understanding God degree. What are the standards of just and true in order to be one that has no unrighteousness within? Is it morally based or is it lacking wisdom in regards to is it regards to the etymology of the word being wise? All right. It's always, I think it's certainly during the morality. We're talking about the destruction of the devil here. And it's only going to happen if there's a way that it's being done. That it cannot be done a certain way. It has to be done just and true. You know what I mean? And there has to be no unrighteousness in him. You know? So you're not destroying the devil just because you're tired of hell. You're destroying the devil because you're working on yourself within. You're working with the people. You're responsible for all of humanity. You know what I mean? This is a reason why the father, though, wasn't always embraced by other black movements. Because the reason he wasn't anti-white is because he realized that I made this entire earth. This whole universe is mine.
I'm gonna hate what I create.
How could I not have, let's say I hate parts of the universe that I have made.
Right.
I'm still responsible for it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still responsible for it. Look, Raekwon, that's his album, Immobilarity. He has to live with that. You know? Right? He has to live with all the bad songs. That's his songs. They're not my songs. It has great songs on it. But it has a lot of bad ones, bad music. He has to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? He has to deal with the music and the lyrics. Great lyrics, but a lot of music selections are off, though. He has to deal with that, right? That's his responsibility. He can't just like put it on us, though, and say we didn't buy it.
Nah, that's on you.
That's his. That's his album, not mine. I remember I was one of the few people that wrote a review for Immobilarity when it came out, though. A website called hook.com. And I said exactly what I say today. I said the lyrics were great and the beats were not up to par. Because people just dismissing the thing in general. Yeah. By that time, magazine rap editors and writers, it's like they didn't listen to what the lyrics were.
Right.
They stopped listening to the lyrics, you know? But I'm just trying to make the point that we're responsible for everything that we make, you know? So we got to make those decisions, you know what I mean? And just and true is something for you to create. You know, what is your morality? What is your compass, though? What will be? It's not just what's told to you. You have to show and prove and have parameters of morality that you decide. What is justice? You know what I mean? Right? What is the rewards or penalties? Because if you don't teach, that's the degrees telling you the Nation of Islam will punish you if you don't.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody coming.
Right.
You don't teach the youth, though. Has it happened to anybody here that you don't teach the youth and all of a sudden some Muslim knocks on your door? By order of Elijah Muhammad, you've been summoned, you know? Yeah. That shit doesn't happen, you know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe it might have happened with the NOI, but that's not happening with us. You all I'm teaching, though, right? When y'all don't build, though, you don't see me knocking on your door, right? To kind of see what the fuck you was doing the other day. You could have taught the kids something, right? I don't show up. There's no mystery God. It's just, you have to develop the standards, and you'll see if you don't know you dive in. You'll see if that morality. The thing is, though, is that you don't always see the worth righteously or unrighteously of your actions. Sometimes the truth is that that's what karma means. The truth is that some of the things that we do, we won't see its effect until we're long gone from here. And that's just the actual fact, And the Eastern concept of karma is just that, We're in these situations, a lot of it because things our parents did, grandparents, great-grandparents, you know what I mean? Right? All of us, though, got some ancestor that was like, nah, I'm not going to kill myself. That shit is crazy. Somebody said.
Indeed.
Right? I got some Indian that said, nah, I'm not going to I'm not gonna do the suicide shit,
Mhm.
right? Because that's what they was doing, right? Some ancestors said, Kasim's ancestor said, you know what? I'm gonna keep picking this kind. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep picking this shit. Somebody kept doing it
Trying to.
because Nat Turner's not here. You know what I mean? But the impact of the things you do affect other people, not just your family ancestors, but you are affecting other people. You know what I mean? The things that you read from people from hundreds of years ago affect us. 120 is affecting us, and that was 100 years ago. It's like 100 years ago, right? We're almost there. You know what I mean? It's at least 90. You know, when he was around and stuff. You know, Fard was thinking about coming here. It was like almost over a century ago.
That's a fact.
793rd, you said every 10 minutes there are a page worth of cinema uploaded, distributed, and out of worldwide of flicks from the last 90 years, including everything that premieres on the screen. Boy, I don't doubt that stat, but I'd love to know where you got that stat. Some flicks have been released on the BBC network for years that haven't got over. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's why I be laughing sometimes when, we could say our favorite show and shit, but most people haven't watched everything to say, you know what I mean?
Or it might be some shit.
I be laughing because you just picking shit that relates to the shit that you're coming from. But when it comes to movies and films, unless you really dig into that, you're an actor. And I know because my brother's an actor. He really studied this shit though. You know, he writes screenplays, all that kind of shit. He really studied. And I know for a fact, people ain't seen how much he's seen.
Right.
You know, they haven't seen it though. You know what I mean? So you say, "Yo, the greatest show ever is The Wire," man. You know, and I'm like, that may very well might be, but you didn't see Downton Abbey. You don't know if them crackers killed it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because I saw both and I love Downton Abbey. You know what I mean? I like all these shows. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's funny, right, guy?
Yeah.
Sometimes I appreciate shows because I don't want to see the black man just hustling and killing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So sometimes, that's why I haven't started Snowfall because I'm like, I don't want to see. I'm not the Wire. When you watch The Wire, though, I watch The Wire, and I'm out here. Brothers will relate and be like, "Yeah, that's how it is in the streets," and we got through it. And I'm looking like that's how it is in the streets, and I'm trying to teach right now in these streets. It's very jarring. You know what I'm saying? It's not always easy. You know, so sometimes as enjoyment. You know what I mean? And white folk, they got the frivolity. That's the magic of the period piece, though. With the white man, you know, their period pieces like Downton Abbey or their movies and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, in the Baroque period or Victorian period, because it's all lies and shit. They were never that clean. It's basically the mansions and the castles are really the oppressor, you know. So, but they give you fantasy. We're not even at that level where we could throw fantasies on. That's why that's why black superheroes and the superhero thing are so big with us because it's the only type of art that we have that doesn't have to be so just all realism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Reality. Because some of this stuff, like The Wire, that shit is, a lot of it is documentary. You know what I mean? You know? And white people love that though. They love to see us get shot up. Bro. They love that shit.
Just like they like it in the
You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of people would think differently about certain programs or put them in a different perspective, no matter how good they were, like The Wire, if they saw how the way white people watch it. You know what I'm saying? And how white people.
That shit with the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I've seen the shows
Absolutely.
of certain artists that talk that type of talk. Yeah. And a lot of the people that be white folks and shit.
I tell you, I never forget. Vibe magazine. I'm in their offices. I'm talking to a brother. Put it right there, like that. And I thought he was a brother. White guy comes in and says, "Hey, you heard the new Old Dirty Bastard album?" Hey, the Old Dirty Bastard. It's the second one.
Yeah.
And I don't like it at all, though. I
Right.
never liked that album that much. You know what I mean? Because I thought that he became a caricature of himself. You know what I mean? Like, he was too cartoonish for him. You know, he's exploiting his own reality. But that's how I felt. And the white man proved it to me. So he's an editor. I didn't know he was an editor, though. I'm just a kid. I'm out there burning bridges. You know what I mean? Fuck it. And white man goes to the black guy, and he goes, that's sitting down that I'm talking to. And he goes, "Yeah, man, you heard that new Old Dirty Bastard? I don't know, man. I love it, though." Yeah, and he said the black man is God, the white man is the devil. You know, the black man is the devil, the white man, you know, like he's getting all messed up. And he goes, "I just love the way, you know," he goes crazy and just, you know, it's just crazy. The way he was saying it, though, I just looked at him. I was in the Chappelle episode. I looked at him, so I said, "So you like the black man acting a damn fool, right?" I just went straight up on him. I was like, "You like the black man acting like a fool." It's 1999. I just got knowledge. I just got the knowledge, though. I just got the knowledge, though. So now you know. When you get the knowledge, I don't even know how to talk to white people, though. That's like I forgot. If it's not my job, I don't know how to talk to white people. So I go, "Well, you like the black man acting like a fool, right?" And I looked at my brother, you know, what I thought was my brother. I was like, "Yo, back and then he's just yucking it up. He's like, like literally like that. I said, "Man, I didn't even know he could laugh like that." I was like, "Oh man!" And then he left, though, and I was like, "Yo, who?" And he just ignored me and left. And then I said, "Who the fuck was that?" And he goes, "That was one of the editors." And I was like, "Oh boy," you know. And I didn't think nothing of it, though. I thought he was gonna hook me up. I never got a job. I never got a freelance job getting in. You know. In fact, I didn't get a freelance job, but they felt very comfortable with taking the work I gave them, though, and plagiarizing my Inspector Deck uncontrolled substance review. You know what I mean? And go fuck themselves, because that was true. One of them gives them back to. They knew they did that. Another nigga actually put his name on my shit. You got to be a real bitch ass writer, though, to be willing to put your name on something that somebody else wrote. But anyway, the point being, I'm like, yo, this, you know, these programs, like, sometimes it's very jarring and shit like that to watch. You know, you don't see all that, though. You know? The realism, like, who's it for? Who are we showing it for? You know what I mean?
Did you see Execute All the Brutes? Or did you hear anything about it?
No, I never heard of that. What is that?
It's a new like documentary series on HBO Max. Pretty much just like speaking on the history of colonialism. And,
exterminate all the brutes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, yo, shit's like deep. I'm actually surprised they had that on HBO Max. You know what I mean?
I do have HBO Max. Like I told my brother, he's an actor, so he got all that. I got all that. If people knew how much TV and film I could watch, they'd be like, "Yo, Sunez, you crazy? Why are you reading?" Like, like, why are you reading? You know, like, no, I didn't run to watch Mortal Kombat just because I have, you know, HBO Max. You know what I mean? But
check that out.
Yeah.
Let's see what you think about it.
Definitely. I'm gonna put that on the list, though. Definitely. Let me see what else I did. Self-I Build said, "Vegan bacon? No.
They got tempeh.
Yo,
bacon.
and I couldn't do it either. Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah. Yo, I was eating the first time I ate bacon, like soy bacon, like, you know, some fake bacon in a restaurant, though. Yo, I just was making a fool out of myself, though. Like, I had the face like I was selling out, though. Like, I was just, you know, like I had this guy's face, like, you know, in Judas and the Black Messiah, though. Like, right. I had that face. It was too real. my body was accepting it like pork, and I was like, nah, I can't do it. You know what I mean? I can't do it. Why do you gotta make this shit so real? And plus, I haven't had fake. I haven't had meat. Well, you haven't had meat since like the fucking 90s.
They need meat substitutes.
A fake meat is real
to you.
It really fools the shit out of me. It don't fool other people, but it fools me, and I'm like, it's too real.
I see that.
793 said uncured turkey. Just because Raekwon said it though, What did Raekwon say now? He said you don't eat turkey bacon.
Turkey bacon. Yeah, I don't get down like that.
We know Raekwon eats turkey bacon.
That's a fact. You got to.
Because he had his Instagram and he had like some shit that looked like bacon. I know it had to be turkey bacon because I know the guy not eating no bacon. Uncured turkey bacon strictly with no nitrates nor nitrites. Try air frying if you can. I mean, look, my thing is this though, is that you're trying to get what you're getting out of that is the taste of pig and salt. Get off the pig. You know what I'm saying?
It don't necessarily taste like the. But
I get no, but this is the reason though, right? It's a poor substitute because it's not much healthier than what you could do with other foods. You know what I'm saying? With other foods, and if you think that is a suitable morning breakfast meal, you're really bugging out. You're really bugging out because you're gonna eat the worst. The only healthy part of a cliche American breakfast is probably the eggs because they have lots of protein. And I still would never eat that. Never. I never eat. I never like baby fetuses, but the bacon, the eggs,
change more ways, man.
The American breakfast is something you don't want to just emulate it. And then you certainly don't want to go the kids' way with the sugary breakfasts. Because that's just, you might as well just put sugar on the table and just have them snort it. Right? Just have your kids do a line of sugar, just kid, off to school.
Hop up.
Yeah. Just roll up that Monopoly money and just go, and just, because it's just sugar, just sugar. Yeah. Mayans MC is dope. Quatis, yeah. And even when I watch Mayans MC, it's like mad crime. Like I'm like, damn, they can't have these niggas do nothing but crime. But just like I'm sure Snowfall is well written, just like Wire's well written. Sometimes a lot of us are watching things because we don't see our own people in the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the only show I can think of where I don't see a Mexican shucking and jiving. I can't find I don't know a program like that. I know Beverly Hills Chihuahua though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just, the amount seriously, like why do I know that? Like, you know what I mean? Like they make 3 of those shits.
Right.
I mean, this is how much the coonery is, you know what I mean? Right? All right, I see you using the avocados, of course. Yeah, that's a good way to get good healthy fats. Saladin said performance enhancing drugs are rampant in sports fitness industry. Look at those bodybuilders. They die in their 50s. The body can only do so much. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you overwork the body. Look at Schwarzenegger's body. I mean, it's crazy. But, and I'm just messing you up. But if you're transitioning, then you transition the best as you can. You know what I mean? But try to find the elements that make you like a food. You know what I mean? Is it really the saltiness? Is it really this? What are the flavors? You know what I mean? And if you like bacon because of the maple, I mean, that's the maple wood. I mean, you can, has nothing to do with pig. You know what I mean? Nothing to do with it. Oh, you 793rd saying that. Immobilarity is a very good album though, as far as like lyrics. You know what I mean? And he has some really good ideas, though. That just came to my head, though. Yeah. It was the album Raekwon I didn't like that much was Fila. Didn't like that album.
I didn't even go through the whole genre.
Yeah. And I love Raekwon's catalog, though. He's nearly on. If you go bar for bar with him, he's one of the greatest writers I've ever seen. Greatest. That's Peace Self I Build. I'll get back to you on the things you text me. Right. Oh, so you caught the intro. Yeah, I was saying this, so if you ever catch this, it's on Hulu. So if you catch the Mayans, just even if you don't watch it, just watch the intro. Because the intro, they did a new intro and they montage a whole bunch of historical clips. And then they show like the LA Dodgers, and then they show like people getting pulled out of houses and stuff. And it doesn't, people, you wouldn't understand what it means, but they're showing parts of Mexican resistance. So they're showing like Chavez, they're showing things like that. But a lot of people don't know that when the Brooklyn Dodgers left here, they didn't have a place there. They were like, fuck it, we're leaving here because we're not getting what we want, but over there we're gonna take. And so they gentrified the Mexican neighborhoods in that area. So the entire LA Dodger Stadium is around Mexican neighborhoods that they gentrified forcefully. Like there's footage of bulldozers just plowing through houses and shit. And just, families and people crying and, yelling and shit. Grimy.
That's the throwback.
Yeah, grimy shit though. So at least, at least Jay-Z just chuckled and they quietly gentrified everybody from, Brooklyn area to make the Barclays Center. At least Jay-Z did it smooth, right?
So
since there's so many Jay-Z fans out there.
Cool. All right, so quick question in regards to shit like gentrification or whatever. Is there an ethical way to upkeep and advance a community in a sense and not raise?
The problem that people talk about is like, yo, if we would have got together, we would have bought up all this.
Right.
How? They didn't have money to get it in the first place.
Right.
So people didn't, you go, oh, look, you got gentrified because you didn't take care of the community. We didn't own anything. We can't really upkeep it. And it's disrespectful because people are fighting for their survival. So most of the people that could do anything, that have the adults that have the wherewithal to do something, they're actually not in the community. Think about it for a minute. Most of the people that legally make money for Black and brown communities that are poor, let's just do New York City. They're not in their neighborhood when they're getting their money.
That's a fact.
Right? They're leaving. We have to take a train. We have to go somewhere else to make it.
Right.
They're here in Manhattan, cleaning up, doing shit. Whether you have a good job, bad job, in the middle. So now all of the upkeep of the neighborhood, whose responsibility is that? Especially when you don't own any of the land, zero of the land. Not one city that was gentrified was because a whole bunch of Black people that live in the neighborhood said, I don't feel like buying where I live. That has not happened. Right? There's not. All these brownstones here, man, you could have bought it, but I didn't want to. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, some of the people owned them, some of them didn't. And
some owned them.
Right,
some own them, but it's,
but
you're
really
talking
didn't.
about, right, it's always an anomaly. It's always like one person might own a block. That's not how the neighborhoods were gentrified, though.
Right.
They were gentrified by whites that were able to own and basically come together and buy whole block chunks. You get this brownstone, I get that one, I get this brownstone. Landlords are fixing up apartments. I've been to apartments here in Harlem where I'm with the guard and I look down, I'm in his bathroom and I can see the next floor.
Right.
But then I leave and next door, the gentrified apartment looks like a palace. And there's no way that he can ask a landlord because then the landlord's going to, well, that's going to cost extra. You'll have to pay this though. Right? So he can't. He has to leave it like that. Then if he makes his own upkeep, they say, well, you could afford this extra. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it was when we were little, right? We used to try to, your parents fix something and the landlord sees that you painted. They're like, oh, well,
yeah,
you certainly could afford more. Things are going good.
And
right? All that shit. Welfare, when welfare comes though, you hide everything. You even hide the new toaster. A new fucking toaster, you hide it. All of this kind of shit we was doing. Everything, right? So landlords and the entire welfare system, everybody, you have to hide anything that you have nice. So now, any money that's made in the community, who's making it? It's pretty much all illegal. It's the youth that are grinding at night after hours. It's all of the people that are grown that are doing shit in the community. The neighborhood lottery men, which is not kids and shit. That wasn't kids growing up. That was adults doing that shit. That was adult, businesses. So there's no way to do it. There has to be policy for us to be able to get the land and to be able to purchase the land that we live on. And that's what reparations is for, really. That's why first African Americans need reparations so they could buy the land. But reparations, people keep talking about some money they give you. Nah. Reparations should not be money. It should be land. Fuck the money. You need like the best asset you could get that is in short supply. Not money, because money is going to have to be spent back with the owners of production. You got to give the people part of the production, and that's the land.
But see, motherfuckers going to get a bunch of land, but then they're going to need some money to buy tractors and all that. So, you know what I mean? They're going to have to figure something out.
That's why the reparations is not ended. It's not just land, though, but the resources and access. That's why they can't have the conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they can't have the conversation. They'll give.
They have to give the whole country.
They'll give some policy to Asians, because remember, Asians,
they have to give the whole
right?
Country to us, bro. How much land could they possibly?
See, the thing is, right, guys, Asians were screwed over. Asians were coolies for a while. They actually dealt with slavery-like conditions.
Yeah.
For a long time, because if you study coolies, though, they were dying in mass amounts as they were transported here. They just didn't call it slavery because they abolished it. So then they used the Asians, whether Indian, Philippine, Chinese, Japanese, all that. But the thing was is that they were able to set up communities that they allowed them to own and get policy that protects their communities, even if they don't always get all the land. They won't give us anything. They certainly haven't given African Americans anything. And African Americans asking for like this dope
utopia,
like asking for money. That's not gonna work, because the money has to be used. They need assets. You know what I'm saying? You need land and the ability to have that land. And even if it starts minimal, where people have land, the land that they get to live on the land that they have. That doesn't sound logical in the city, but throughout all the states and all the little plots of land, like people live in shacks, but they're in plots of lands that are not theirs. You know what I mean? Right. What if they lived in all those things? But this is mass revolution. That's why they don't like the story of Fidel, because that's what he did. He redistributed all the land and all of the property.
One quick thing, outside of the reparations shit, because I know Malcolm at one time was trying to, take America to the UN or to the World Court or whatever. Mm-hmm. Do you think that approach is even possible in this day of time, or was it ever possible to be like, yo, America actually got crimes against us and we could show and prove it?
Yeah. The only,
you know what I mean?
The reason I say I don't know, because the UN has only become more corrupt, not less corrupt. Right? And the mouthpieces, there are so many availabilities to speak that no one hears the voice. You know what I'm saying? Media is really controlling everything. Like, yo, look, let's keep it real. You don't think media is controlled. People think, oh, we have all these forums and stuff. But it just makes you forums and gives you opportunities to engage the forum. But that doesn't mean they control it. Look at the COVID stuff. I've seen constant people on my timeline that disagree with the vaccine. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is that their post is literally covered. Like on Instagram, it'll be covered with that thing. No, COVID is correct, and you could click here. And I'm like reading this shit, like, oh, what the fuck did he say in this thing? Even if it's a fucking meme or whatever, but like they're covering shit, and they are negating posts that are supposedly invalid. But they didn't have no problem with. They never did it with Trump, and I don't want to hear no shit about banning Trump after he did all this damage. You know, he was never fact checked. He was saying shit that was crazy wild, and he basically galvanized the mentality. You know, so people that say, "Yo, look at Biden, he's doing all the shit that Trump was gonna do the same thing." You know what I mean? But the difference was that Trump was galvanizing the mentals of the people. You know what I mean? No matter what, though, no matter what people say, a guy like Biden doesn't have the abilities of a Trump. Can't even come close to doing that. You know?
Sleepy Joe? Nah.
These crackers will go and shoot and die for Trump.
Yeah.
I can't. You won't find one person that'll shoot for Biden though, unless they're in the Secret Service. But yeah, I riffed off that intro. Oh, that's why I can't watch Snowfall at the moment. Yeah, like I said, I hear it's good, but it's like, a lot of the brothers I know, especially the MCs and the artists and stuff like that, they live the street life. So they're like, oh yeah, I did that too. Yeah, I was there, But and that doesn't mean that it's not exploiting. You know what I mean? And it feels more like exploitation because there really isn't a good balance, though. You only see gritty realism, or you see straight coonery. There's like no in between.
Yeah, right.
There's no in between.
For a minute.
Yeah.
For a long time.
There's very few shows that show like some type of balance. I will give it. What was that show? I think it was called Chicago. The Chai. Chicago. I think that was. I saw a couple of episodes and they had a diverse cast and they were trying to show like brothers trying to make it good with the cooking and the other brothers in the street, this and that. They were trying to intersect the world. It was more realistic and stuff. I'm terrible at watching shit. But it's very far and few between. 793's only problem I had with Snowfall was that Singleton could have consulted use Freeway Rick's real story, which the show was based on. In the end, was not glamorous or sexy for TV. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. There's nothing. Yeah, But we do live in a world where Rick Ross is a rapper. You know what I mean? So people love fake shit. That's what I learned. People love fake shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Got through it just to see what and how he tell the story. Same way I feel about Paid in Fulls. That shit wasn't flying real time. Also feel the way about the Monster flick coming out with Jeff Wright. Oh, I haven't checked. I haven't heard about that. I gotta check. Jeffrey Wright is a good actor though. And Nas acting and executive producing. Not really looking forward to Nas acting though.
Monster Cody or some shit.
I'm guessing, right? Maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
KR said the ODB album wasn't good at all. It was heartbreaking to listening to compared to his first. Yeah, yeah. It really was though. It had some nice songs. RZA had some nice songs on there that he gave him. But it really wasn't, I don't know how you replace RZA with Neptunes, Right? I didn't see the Netflix documentary about Malcolm X though, and it's only because I'm tired of seeing things about Malcolm X. You know what I mean?
I don't even think I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, and there's other books that I have that are more interesting that I want to get into about Malcolm X. But I studied Malcolm X so much, and finding out who killed him though is not something I want the industry, the movie industry, to tell me about. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. Morningstar and Beyond Meat are okay, but again, those are very processed though. Let me give you an example.
Oh, somebody said Morningstar?
Yeah. These are all processed Morningstar. Let's look up Morningstar veggie burgers. That's what came up to.
Yeah, the name, dog. Morningstar.
Trying to exploit the nation. Shit. Trying to find the ingredients on here. Come on. Help me out here.
See, they hiding.
They're hiding. They're just keeping things secret. Yeah, look, water, wheat gluten. Again, wheat gluten is not something like, hey, look, I just found some wheat gluten on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, you never find that, you know? You're extracting the protein. And that's why people get gluten allergies, because you're extracting gluten. That also gives you the itis, though. The wheat gluten.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't really allergic. A lot of people are just getting the itis, though.
Okay.
That's really what's happening. Just, take a fucking nap. But soy protein isolate, never good. Isolates mean that they actually had to take, in the worst way, hexane gas to isolate the actual protein out of the soybean. Whether they use hexane gas or not, though, it's always a destructive process because you can't do it without that process. That's the thing about soy. It's a very powerful bean, but the only way to use it is to process it heavily. Soy flour, same thing. And then it has egg whites, so it's not vegan. Oh, and it has whey, WHEY, which is the water from cow's milk, which has a lot of protein, and that's why you'll see it in protein powders, right? But definitely, I don't consider healthy, right? Methyl cellulose, I don't know where that's from. You got to find out where that's from because that could come from plant or animal substance. You know what I mean? Okay. Methyl cellulose is pretty gross too. It's a bulk-forming laxative that increases the amount of water in your stools to help them make softer and easier to pass. Now, why would they put methyl cellulose inside a burger? The reason they put methyl cellulose inside of a burger is so you could digest it easier. Again, that's what I'm saying. The soy protein isolates are hard to digest. They bloat you. But with the methyl cellulose, they're hoping the interaction.
Bring it down.
Yeah, ease that shit down, though. Ease on down the road. Oh my goodness. So we're eating a food that's giving you, to help you shit it out too. To help you eat it and shit it out. And then cornstarch is processed too. So, So that's why, again, let me look up Beyond Meat. Everybody talks about Beyond Meat. And then I was like, I don't know. I was all bougie. And I was like, oh my God.
I've been falling back on that.
Again, if you got nothing else, but if you're really having problems with transitioning to healthier things, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm all for it. I'm just trying to show you that the more you eat of this, though, the more you start to feel the effects, then you're going to start to really understand. You know what I mean? Water, pea protein, that's good because pea protein is not something that is very destructive in the process. It's the best type of protein powder if you're going to have protein powder. Expeller pressed canola oil, refined coconut oil. It's basically a wasted coconut oil. But they do that because they don't want coconut flavoring in it. Natural flavors. It's supposed to be vegan, but that means that they don't want to let you know. Inactivated yeast. Rice protein, more methyl cellulose because they need you to digest it. Okay. Apple extract, pomegranate extract, no problem. Sunflower lecithin, that's not too bad. This is much better. Much better. And I'm looking at the Beyond Breakfast Sausage.
I heard some shit about the Beyond Meat got something in it that'll alter the gene or some shit that help you
probably
fight cancer and all this other shit. And
I look at the burger. The burger pretty much has the same thing. They just have added rice protein. If you're gonna pick, I would go with Beyond Meat before I go with Morningstar. Morningstar, yeah, chuck that.
Morningstar been out for a long time.
So yeah, they're older. Yeah, they're older. Beyond Meat is newer.
But they more flavor.
Yeah. They got that old process.
Right. They already got their formula.
Again, these are processed though. So like if you have a problem digesting, and that's why you don't think you will because the methyl cellulose will get that shit right out.
I'll be hearing about people who was like vegan all their life and still somehow caught the type of cancer or some shit, but they was saying that is because they was eating a lot of meat all alternatives and soy and this, that, and the other.
Yeah. People OD on that. People OD on that. I remember I didn't know about fake meats for a couple of years after being vegan.
Yeah.
And when I found out about it, I was ODing. So I knew the effects. Because I was like, wow, all these, eat these different things, But and it wasn't because I wanted meat. It was because I just wanted to eat different things, like new shit.
Yeah.
But and 793rd, yes, I had a bamboozled experience though. Yeah, I definitely did. KR said turkey bacon tastes like a seasoned paper bag. Ouch. I'll take your word for it though. Morningstar has milk. That's right, Malik. Yeah. I didn't even judge the sodium levels. I didn't look at the sodium levels of Beyond Burger. I can't find them on here. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty intense. 390 milligrams. I mean, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. Yeah, you might as well eat a whole bag of pretzels. Like that. That's that kind of salt. Like yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of salt. Again, be careful with the wheat gluten because this wheat gluten is always processed, and it could make you feel slower and stuff like that. You know what I mean? However, sprouted grains produce naturally occurring gluten. So because that's gluten just means the protein that's in wheat. So you're gonna get that if you have any kind of wheat, whether it's healthy, well done, sprouted, not a flour. It's gonna be there. Like, when people talk about gluten like it's evil, it's just that it gets, that's what people process with. Wheat is like the major crop. Okay, 793rd said here a Netflix movie called Monster about a good artsy kid who gets gassed to do a crime, and something gets locked up having to fight his case that the system is stereotyping him to keep him locked. A$AP Rocky, Jennifer Hudson, Nas, Jeff Wright, and a few others shot location now. Coming soon, and the trailer is up now. Oh, okay, I'm gonna do the answer to that though. He said A$AP Rocky. I'm totally not. I don't hear him rap. Why would I want to see him do more things? You know what I mean? These niggas can't rap, and I gotta see him do new things. Like it's like if you suck at something, I gotta see you try everything. Like like shit. God damn. You can't rap, and then and Nas, I don't. I'm sorry. People call Belly a classic. How's Belly a classic with Nas acting in it? I
don't know, man. It's a classic for me, but I get it's like
it's
like watching your favorite rapper be.
If you're watching the story though, but
the story.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting him to be a whole other character. I'm like, nah, this is how the nigga Nas act, and I guess that's what they wanted the character.
He could barely get through an interview back then, though. Remember, all of his interviews were all weeded out, and let's just give him lines so he could talk. You know what I mean?
I just went to the studio early.
That's all. That's all.
So Nas, how do you?
That's pretty much it.
That was all his interviews back then. Word.
Yeah, that's Belly right there. But I will admit though, I haven't seen Belly since it came out though, so maybe one day.
Different view on it now.
Yeah. I'll come back and I'll be like, it still sucks, but it was nice to see DMX.
Baby, don't need no fucking books. Can't eat no fucking books. Word. And then the NOI being in it was a very interesting spin.
What happened?
I said the NOI being in it, and
that
was an interesting spin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me see where it's playing now. What app has it now, if any?
Yeah, fuck that monster shit. See that exterminator of brutes, but
yeah. Yeah, but I promise though, I will watch Belly one day again. One day. You know what, too? I was very lukewarm and very anti-Belly, and it had nothing to do with that. I didn't want people going into movies when they were fucking up the records. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You needed to be in that studio mode because that's when he released,
Yeah.
Nostradamus and all that kind of shit. And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
He was not on the ball here. You know what I mean? Focus on the damn music. I really think that the only great actors that were rappers was Tupac and Will Smith.
Mm.
Everyone else is meh. Cool. I'll say cool. How about that?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Because that's what it's really pretty much the reason you like Belly.
Pretty much, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Younger me.
Ice-T is not so bad. Ice-T is not so bad.
Yeah, I fuck with Ice-T.
Yeah, he's not so bad. Yeah.
Even though it really just seems like he's being himself on the shit. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's better than Ice Cube because Ice Cube just scowls. Whether it's a comedy or real life, it's just like, fool. Like, he been doing that shit since higher learning. Like, fool. Like, Then, get, what's his name? The Kevin Hart. Fool. Like, everything is the same thing.
Word, that's a fact.
Yeah. His son is pretty good, though.
Yeah.
I think his son has talent, though, as an actor. Watch, I said that. Now his son's going to decide to rap instead. And then.
Q probably told his son not to rap. Like, yo, man, leave that shit.
You would hope that a father that is a great MC would tell son, it's not your thing.
Word.
Be nice
so
to fucking.
It skips a generation.
Yeah. It'd be nice if Tom Hanks told his son to quit the shit. Got him wiggering out here.
That's a whole other fucking story right there.
I agree, 793rd. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I forgot about that 793rd. That when Magic didn't play Belly in the movies. Yeah, I think it was because he thought it was too violent. Yeah, he was on that like I don't want this portrayed and stuff. I'm like, come on, stop it. You know how much black violence is seeping through your movie theater, like, stop. Like, yeah. But now the blacks can't kill themselves in their own in the movie starring them, but they could get killed in the ones with white people. All right, I see you. Yeah, Queen of the South. No, yeah, Queen of the South. That was a novela on the Spanish channels, the Queen of the South thing. Wow, I didn't even know that. John Cena raps. I didn't even know that. That can't be good. Right? It doesn't matter what it can't be good. Yeah, Marky Mark thinks he can act though. Racist fuck. All right, let me go through this protocol technically so that way I could leave you with the protocol. Mentality of the diet, though. And I'm going to summarize, though. I'm not going to read off of it. I want you to read it. Those who don't have it, email me, and I'll send it to you, right?
Yeah, I think I might need that.
Yeah, I could get that to you. Email me, and then I'll get that to you. So let's see here. First, I have the mentality of the diet, though. Why we're eating, the nature how we're eating. Just remember that you're dealing with like and dislike. That's what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? And respect your like and dislike. You know what I mean? Don't dive into healthy things and just totally like flame out. You know what I mean? Like, burn yourself out trying to eat healthy shit. You know what I mean? Eating like kale with like no seasoning and shit like that. Like, if you're not, that's another thing. My daughter will pull like she'll grab vegetables in the store and put them in her mouth, you know. And I'll be like, yo, that's dirty. Like, you can't even do that. Like,
You know, she's
yeah.
different.
She's like nature. Like, she's all about nature. But yeah, once you master your like and dislikes, then you can temper them to go with like, yo, this is gonna be good for me. I'm gonna try to like this. You know what I mean? And if you have trouble, like, yo, you really want to get something that is nutritious, but you can't find it, let me know, because honestly, with all this vegan stuff and the health food movement, you can get everything that tastes good now. Like, you know, you get a good diet that tastes good. You know, you don't have to eat like shit. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's a fact.
And if you want to treat, like you know, and you know, vegan treats are a good way to go too, because you're not going to get all the processing, the milk, the dairy, which is really what fattens you up. You know, you have a piece of cake, it's really the milk. You know, the milk and the dairy and all that kind of shit that's getting you fat. But shit, I put up a whole, you know, I had 2 vegan donuts the other day, and I still was able to train. And I had them shits late at night too. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I shouldn't eat them, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna eat them." And I still was good. I still was able to train them. You know what I mean? And they just make it with lighter stuff because they use different flours. Like, they use spelt flour, which is a kind of wheat derivative. It's in the wheat family, very light. You know, they use things like that that'll be much lighter on the body. You know what I mean? So it can help. But if you don't know your mentality and how you're going to temper yourself and know where you could fail and how you're going to help yourself, how you're going to make little rewards for yourself so that way you don't suffer so much, because you want to make a lifestyle, not a diet. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I have written here, mentality of the diet. The whole point is that it's not a diet. You know what I mean? It's really like you're composing right now a diet that can transition into being a lifestyle. And I say diet because in the beginning, like, you're eating the wrong foods, you're out of shape. You got to eat in a way that you're not going to eat regularly. You have to really get into a boot camp style of eating. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, like a ball player, right? Like, he's working out regularly. But when that season's about to start, man, he has to go a little extra. Now, during the season, he's not working out like that in the gym. Like, he's not lifting heavy like that. None of that. But before he gets there, he's got to go intense. This is kind of like the beginning of that diet. You're going to have to try new things. You know, you're going to have to be like, nah, I like that, but I can't eat that. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to try to find where you could, you know, transition to and all those kind of things. Then you go mentality of the diet. Then you have what I call the inner and the outer of our health. You know what I mean? Let me just read this. This preliminary build guide for our diet is focused on the work of the physical foods we take in. However, keep in mind this is just the inner stage, the foundational step to health, a focus of what goes in the body. As you engage in steps in the protocol, remember that the detoxification of your outer diet, soaps, creams, oils you use on the skin, the cleansers you use in a home, or the quality of air you breathe in your controllable surroundings are vital to your health. You know, there's a book called formerly known as Food.
I just heard about that.
Yeah.
I actually got the protocol.
Oh, okay. Formerly known as Food is a great book. And the point is that there are studies that show that, and studies that haven't been done enough of, that shows that the constant, that, you know, a chemical is non-toxic, is deemed as non-toxic only because they're saying, like, yo, if you get, like, if this whole room was filled with this, you would die. But it's not. It's just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Toxic.
But if you notice, though, just like with food, do people go by the food? Like, when you put when you put chemicals that have a slight toxicity in an air freshener, and then you spray, it's like, nah, I'm not gonna spray that much. Just spray for the room. But what happens if there's a horrible smell? Do people spray a little bit when they use that? Just like with food, you tend to use products, though, way more than was what is recommended. You know? And if somebody farts in the room, you know what happens, though? They get the freshener and they blow you away. Now, that has, yeah, like, they put so much freshener, you're slipping on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, you got to watch all the chemicals that are around you so that you could judge the quality of your life. You know what I mean? And the more you can control, the better you are. You know what I mean? So that outer diet is something to think about too. The soaps, definitely start with the soaps because you're cleaning your largest organ, your skin, with some putrefied pork stuff. You got to figure it out. You know what I mean? Your shampoos, all of that. You know what I mean? Right? So there's a lot of research to be done with that. You know what I mean? That's why I always advocate the Bronner soap, Dr. Bronner soap, because it's great and it's real cheap. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You get a whole 16 ounces of that for like $12 to $15. It's gonna last you a long time. So you know what I mean? It comes with great scents that are all natural. You know what I mean? So take a note of the outer diet though. This is inner diet we start with. You know? All right, what do we have? The ideal diet, okay? The ideal diet, of course, I'm advocating is a vegan diet. I'm telling you not to eat any of the meats, the dairy. But what I'm really telling you, though, is to decide how you will learn to use this diet, not to be vegan. In other words, not all of you are going to be vegan. You know what I mean? Damn, Supreme Scientist, you funny, man. He goes, vegan food tastes nasty. I've been vegan for over 20 years. I don't know. Maybe I've altered my taste buds so much though, but of the natural foods, what things that are deliberately vegan taste shitty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You're making these burgers and shit like that, you got to do a lot to them and shit, you know what I mean? And I'll have the vegan burgers. Like, I have the Trader Joe's vegan burger, you know what I mean? To add on with the family and everything like that, you know what I mean? But it's not really what I eat regularly, you know what I mean? But, yeah, all this extra meatless stuff, chill with that. A lot of the vegan food becomes good when they replace meat and they start giving you more mushroom dishes. I kind of like that way of doing it because the mushrooms are healthy. Mushrooms never confuse me to be meat, but they're chewy. You know what I'm saying? And at least you get something that is healthy. And mushrooms definitely hold a lot of flavor.
Well, a lot of them, they just stick to the portobello or the shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of
but for a lot of people, that's like the most that they ever eat.
Process.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a start, you know what I mean? Definitely a start. All right, and then on the list I have the elimination for detoxification, the meats, you know what I mean? If you have to, you try to stick with the cold water fish, your salmon and things like that. Don't do farm raised salmon, okay? You know what I mean? Try to do a wild salmon, always wild salmon.
Mm.
Indeed, LT said, ITAL diet, what is natural? And let the ITAL focus you on if you go vegan, because the processed foods are vegan, but they're not ITAL. You know what I mean? They're not natural. They're not natural to the environment.
That's the wave right there. ITAL is vital.
Yeah. So I have it here. I detail all of it though. Texturized proteins and stuff like that. Protein isolates. All of those things are gonna be tough on the system. You go out to a restaurant and stuff like that. You might eat it with the date. With the family. But don't do that regularly. Like, don't be having a veggie burger every night. You know what I mean? That's terrible. It's gonna fuck you up. It is. It's gonna bloat you. And I learned about bloating not really from that, but from the soy protein powders, because they didn't have any other type of vegan protein powder when I became vegan and I was working out. I just got knowledge, and the guys was doing kung fu. I started doing kung fu, so I'm like, yo, I'm like 140 now. I was like 120 and shit. So I was like string noodle. Yeah.
Mm.
So I was like, I gotta get big, you know what I mean? And get muscle up. I did, but it was at that cost, All right, the second thing, detox, is dairy. And again, if you decide not to be vegan, that's your choice. But if you're trying to use this diet, I want you to know this diet so that you could use it to actually detox yourself when you need to, when you feel bad, when you feel like What are the things you could possibly, get rid of? In Stony Brook, you're right though. We had no resources. You had to do what you had. You know. Yo, honestly, I went vegan. I didn't know that was a word. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a word for that. I was vegan before I knew what the word was for it. I was this. I'm vegetarian that don't eat dairy. That was what I was saying. I didn't know there was a word for that. Yeah. And look, for anyone that decides to keep eating meat, whatever it is, one of the major things you could do for your health is fixing your condiments, your flavorings, your seasonings. You get seasonings to season your food, that's great. Try to get them without added salt. You know what I mean? Get sea salt, your pink Himalayan salt. You know what I mean? These are the good salts, not the processed salt, where they're adding dextrose and things to it. All of these artificial sweeteners, no gum with any of that shit. Aspartame gum, none of that. That's not good for you at all. You know what I mean? You better. I'd rather eat Bazooka Joe than eat, one of these aspartame gums. These artificially sweetened gums. All right, your ketchups. Be careful. Your ketchups got lots of salt, got lots of sugars. You get go to the vegan health food store, get one that just has actually real tomatoes in it. You know what I mean? Just tomatoes with some salt and seasonings. And if you don't know the difference, though, read those McDonald's packets. You know what I mean? Mayonnaise. I've always found mayonnaise gross. So if you're actually eating that, though, good luck. They got vegan substitutes. I find them gross, too, because I don't like mayonnaise. Butter, margarine. If you're substituting, cow's milk butter with margarine, you might as it's like switching between different guns, you know what I mean? You just switch guns, Margarine is the most processed shit ever. Yeah, it's terrible. At least the butter is just really just churned, milk, What I would do is go for, transition to a vegan butter. They make them without soy. It'll mainly just be olive oils and stuff. That's processed too. You know what I mean? But it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You know what I mean? And it's like in the diet for let's say my daughter, it's one of the things I deal with that is probably the only processed thing she's having in her diet because I give her bread and she likes a little bit of vegan butter on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's salty, so you got to make sure you don't OD on that. You know what I mean? Right? And if you're making salads, right? And you're like, I don't like this healthy shit and salads suck. I don't know how. You need to learn how to season salad.
True.
You get some olive oil. You get some olive oil, vinegar. If you don't use the vinegar, use some. If you have problems with salt, you get some limes or lemons and squeeze a little lime and lemon in there. You could add the salt, but you start to realize that it'll combine with the salt flavor. The lime or the lemon augments the salt. Also, too, learn how to buy different seasoning. Try different seasoning in your foods and throw them in the salad. Throw all that shit in there. You know what I mean? And if you don't know how to season, though, get yourself some Dash. You know what I mean? Get yourself some Dash because it doesn't have any salt. But your seasoning game has to be without salt. You know what I mean? Ginger's great in the salad. That tastes great in the salad. That's a good suggestion. You know what I mean? And I myself like a spicy salad. And I know Trader Joe's, they sell a spicy jalapeno that doesn't have any preservatives. I never get this jalapenos hot sauces that have preservatives because I'm gonna use that. I don't want to use a lot of that shit. So they make them without any of the preservatives. And I put some in the list. I put some replacements there: organic sugar, organic raw honey, stevia extract, which is not sugar at all, agave nectar, which is sugar. You have to use wisely. Brown rice syrup, carrageenan, sea salt, and I put carrageenan. You're not gonna buy carrageenan, but you'll see it in the ingredients though, so you know what it is. soy butter, but they make vegan butter without soy now. Right? And then the fourth thing to detox is the processed foods. Start by questioning everything you have in a box by reading everything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking all this shit in. It's in the box. You know what I mean? Learn to read the recommended daily allowances, have nothing to do with what's in the thing. Recommended daily allowances is their arbitrary measurement, and it's what they recommend based on what they see. So if you get 100% of vitamin C, that just means 90 milligrams, because they decided that 90 milligrams is recommended. You know what I mean? So that might not be enough for you. You know, you might need more. So, you know, don't think that the recommended daily allowances is the way to go. Like when you said that, Malik, when you said that and made note to me, and I looked back and I saw the burger had too much sodium, I didn't look at the recommended daily allowances. I just been reading products so much that I know that 390 milligrams is OD level. Like it's stuff you find in a salt pretzel bag. You know what I mean? Like if you ate the whole pretzel bag, that's how much salt you would get. You know what I mean? And so you just got to start looking. You got to start measuring things. You got to start reading. You know what I mean? It's real important. You know what I mean? We love our children, right? But we can't put them inside our body and take them with them. You know what I mean? No matter how cute they are. Because they're cute, though. So you want to eat your kid, right? They're cute. But can't eat them. I tried. You know, I tried. But the thing about it, though, is that this food, though, they got no love for you. That shit is in you. And you walking around with it. You letting it work you out. You're letting it, you know, keep you alive and all that. But got no fucking love for you at all. You know? And if you're eating, look, if I had to tell you not to eat white rice, white bread, white things, you know, watch out for things like, you know, and I have it here. Watch out for things like bleach-enriched flour, things like that. You know what I mean? One of the best things to do is to go to a health food store and start reading the labels. You know what I mean? You know, even Whole Foods, which is kind of a gourmet store. And that's the only reason you see health foods in there, because health food's expensive. So you're going to see it all in there. Start reading the labels. You know what I mean? But go to a traditional health food store like Health Nuts all over New York City, Westerly on Columbus, you know, around Columbus Circle, 54th and 8th. Shit, these places, they be knowing me too. I'd be like, they be knowing me. But go in there, read the labels, you know, see why these bags of chips are in there and not in the hood. You know, how come they got these and they don't got these in the hood? You know what I mean? What's the difference between Wise potato chips and these potato chips? You know, it's a big deal. And sometimes you have trouble transitioning and you love that potato chip taste. Go get the potato chips in the health food store. It's not the best, but get yourself a better chip. You know what I mean? That shit means more because it might motivate you to eat healthy foods that you don't think taste good, right, Supreme Scientist? If you got like a good healthy snack that you could, you know, binge on a little bit. You know what I mean? Every now and then, I bought some Chipotle chips the other day. You know what I mean? But I'd be doing that. You know what I mean? But so it's important though. You know, and of course I put the fifth thing is your water. You know, water is a difficult thing to write about because people they hustle so many water filters, alkaline this, alkaline that. This takes away every sediment known to man, and all this that. And then he said, "Can I get something that does all that shit?" Yes, it's $2,000. You know, like that, right? Just try to get something that filters water. Do not drink tap water, okay? Because you're not a dog. You know, don't drink tap water, okay? Don't be like, this New York City is the best water in the world. Yeah, maybe at the actual reservoir, but that reservoir is going through every dirty ass, disgusting, corroded pipe in New York City. So it's got so much heavy metals in it accumulated that you got to get something to filter some of it out. You know what I'm saying? Got to get something. And again, we're doing our best because there's no way we live in New York City without getting some kind of chemicals, without getting some kind of bad food, anything. You know? Shit, organic food doesn't even taste as quality organic as it was when I started eating organic. You know what I mean? But and I put some healthy nutrients that you can start your vitamin supplements with this. Vitamin C, because it's water soluble, you always need it. Get your tea game on. I just wrote green tea, but get your tea game on. Be complex. Especially too, if you have trouble getting off the soft drinks and shit like that, start messing with the teas. You can put a little honey in it though, but then you slowly get rid of it. The goal is to have no sweetener in your tea, though, because that's just, I'm bougie.
Yeah.
You can't have sweetener in your tea. Come on, you gotta do it like the old Japanese. You know what I mean? Because you don't really taste the herb. The more you get your taste buds, again, it's about your palate. You develop your palate, you start to taste things very differently. You know what I mean? And if you want to get your B complex, if you deal with vitamins and stuff, then you could buy the B complex vitamins and stuff. Omega-3 fatty acids, you get the algae. You know what I mean? I think the one essential thing here is the chlorophyll. You know what I mean? And I always like Amazing Grass. It's the cheapest and most quality you could get with that. You know what I mean? And of course, I wrote your protein powder in here and everything like that. You know what to do, what not to do. Grass-fed meats. You do that before you do the other. You know what I mean? Right? You do that before the other. A lot of you guys, you're eating your savage sandwiches at the deli, though, telling Dominicans to fix your sandwich and shit. You know what I mean? At least, no, seriously, it sounds messed up, but at least get your, you're not, hopefully not eating a damn swine after class, eating ham, but you eating other kind of junk like turkey or whatever like that. If you're going to eat cold cuts and you're like, no, I'm not eating the swine Sunnis, I'm eating the other cold cuts, at least get something like Boar's Head or something that is GMO, is genetically, they're non-GMO, you know what I mean? It's a bigger company and stuff. At least it'll be non-GMO, you know what I mean? But cold cuts are terrible, so I would never eat a cold cut.
Especially emotions.
Yeah, I would never eat a cold cut. But if you're gonna eat a cold cut, go with like things that is non-GMO, like Boar's Head. They don't add stuff like that. And I know because I know people that work at Boar's Head. They don't use animals that get the steroids and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, turmeric, paprika. Yeah, I see you 793. Onion powder, garlic powder. Basic stuff. You know what I mean? If you don't know how to season your food, look for a packet of seasoning, like like a seasoner that has good flavors. Like you like Italian seasoning stuff, get the Mrs. Dash Italian seasoning. I like that one. That tastes good. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be a legend. You don't have to be a legend, right? Everybody like I don't know how to cook, so I just eat junk. You could make something. You don't have to be. Yeah, you don't have to be a legend, you just gotta make something that tastes really good and is healthy. And after a while, it's gonna feel good that you made something that tastes good and is good for you. And you're like, damn, man, like LT, you said I don't drink tea often. I haven't put anything in my tea in so many years. The most I've done to make my tea sweeter is stir it with licorice root. That's a good idea, actually. You know what I mean? It's a good idea, Yeah, definitely a good idea, Like, we put the Dominicans do they make the oatmeal, they stick the cinnamon stick right in the oatmeal, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Flavor it like that, Okay, I do drink tea often, yeah. Well, since you drink tea often, though, let me put you on my tea. You said tea. Yeah, look that up. Guayusa tea, yerba mate. These are the teas if you want to transition from coffee, you know what I mean? And get that energy. These are teas that you could drink and you could, trust me, I lift, you know what I mean? And I get it off, though, with that tea. I love that tea, And plus, look, all that shit about working out, like you need like all this like pre-workout drink that is basically like crack to get you, like it's like cocaine. Like you ever read the ingredients, like it's like caffeine, sugar, and everything. Like I saw one time my man, he took that shit and he was like, I'm going to the gym for lunch. And he took that shit. He took that pre-workout drink, but then they made him do another job and he didn't get to go to the gym. He was hyped. He was buzzed off because and I was like, this thing is just like cocaine. Like they just shot him up with adrenaline. Yeah. This shit is crazy. But if you look at the ingredients, it's totally not healthy, man. Totally not healthy, man. Like, one of the worst stores, if you're trying to be healthy, though, that is a supposed health food store, is GNC.
Okay. Yeah.
GNC is just like, that is... If they could sell steroids in there, they would. Because they used to. They used to have their own growth hormone that they would sell you in the store. I know because I used to be in there and being passing it by. I said, "Yo, I should fuck with this." Just is it vegan? I want to see it again. I'm short already though. I'm not gonna get taller. It's not right. I didn't make the NBA. It's already over already. You know what I mean? They're not taking me. You know. Right now, yo, seriously, to work out is the easy. Some of the easiest way to work out is to have your body empty. You know, make sure you got rid of all that shit, and you gotta have that energy.
But I thought that should make you throw up too.
Anger.
Like you work out on an empty stomach or some shit. It's usually the other way around.
No. You know, some people need to have a little pre-workout meal. You know what I'm saying? And that works too. You know, I've done that too. But
Or keep it light.
it has to be. You know, you can't be overeating. You know. It's just the right amount. You know what I mean? Yeah, they used to sell HGH, right? Yeah, I see. They got telling me. I'm telling you. Yeah, they used to. I don't know if they still do because I look through and I never see it though. You know what I mean? But they used to sell that shit. That's just fucking steroid. You know what I mean? Like that's the same shit, and people get in there like, yo, if your protein powder is bigger than me, like if you got to carry it in a tub, that shit is not healthy. You know, regular, some normal size shit. You know what I mean? If that shit is in a tub, that like look at this shit, like, yo, it's over for you. You know? Tilo, I never heard of that. What is that? Let me look that up real quick. I have no idea what that is. And I don't think I'm getting what you're telling me in the search.
Is it like low, like hello? T-low.
I see TILO as a special type of Spanish linden flower tea. I don't know if that linden. If anything, I've never had that though. Yeah, but all right. So we are done for the class today. We're reaching 10 o'clock though. So any questions you have, please. If you emailed me and I have not answered you, find the email and forward it to me again and say, look, Sunez, get on your fucking game. No, but put it on the top. That way it's on the top of my pile, okay? Because I don't want to, I miss, you know. Again, my email has a lot of bad music that people send me, so. I gotta get, don't get mad at me, you know what I mean? Rest is vital though. If you do everything healthy and you get shitty rest, you might as well call it in though. You know what I mean? Because then the body can't recuperate though. You know what I mean? And find out what you need. Like for me, it's usually 7.5. I need 7.5.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So if I don't get it though, what I do is I'll work out, but then I'll take a nap after. I get a nap. You know what I mean? And it's always good to take a post-workout nap. Be like, for me, like 10, 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Boom.
Let your body.
Yeah. That's it.
Understand.
It works, you know what I mean? But again, though, email me and we will continue to build. All right. That way, and for those that don't have the protocol, definitely email me so I can send it to you so you can read it though. Not just, you know, have to just take down notes. I actually wrote it down for you. All right. And anything else that's missing in the protocol, which I'm sure there is, let me know and I will add on to it though, you know, via email. And over time, I'll be always updating the protocol. All right. So with that said, peace.
Peace.